Well, it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to take a look at Friday the 13th, Part 6. My all-time favorite Friday the 13th film, and easily one of my all-time favorite horror films. Seems appropriate, though, that we don't do a quick, slapdash 5-minute review. Let's take a proper look at this like I would one of my other films. So, roll the footage.
This is between me and Jason. Jason belongs in hell, and I'm gonna see he gets there.
Darren, we better turn around.
Why?
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
After the failure that was Friday the 13th Part 5, the producers of the series quickly realized that they had pissed off their fans and potentially hurt their profit stream. That meant it was back to the drawing board for Part 6, where they could cherry pick the best parts of what made the series what it was, and add to it to make it what it is now. To help with the job, the studio brought in Tom McLoughlin, who would be the writer and director on this new take, and that right there is the first move that this movie made in the right direction. By having one man in control of both creative processes, you avoid a lot of the confusion and misinterpretation that you get otherwise. The producers were mostly on his side as well, for his vision, which was a nice change of pace for Hollywood and the horror industry. The first big moves that were made with this franchise were to distance it from the failed fifth film and skip back to the direct sequel of the fourth. This meant that Tommy would not be the new villain and that Jason was destined to come back. This left Tommy as not only our main character of the film, but also the protagonist. This alone is a significant change from the survivor formula that most slasher films have. With his framework set, Tom would then go on about setting the feel of the film. He would take us back to the roots of the series and have the setting be in a camp, this time populated by children as well. He would also infuse meta-humor and more action into the film. This would give it a slightly larger-than-life feel, which was only deepened by having Jason appear more on camera. Tom would also take a unique approach to the killings in the movie as well, limiting to what we saw to increase the tension and the horror. This would also be the first time that the producers had asked him to scale it up, whereas before in films it was typically that they had to scale down in order to meet the R rating. Lastly, we would turn one more Friday the 13th staple on its head, featuring no nudity or drug use in the film. This may not seem like it should matter, but I greatly appreciate the more serious tone and the time spent more wisely on characters. Tom was also asked to bring back Jason, and in doing so look to the classic monster films of the 1930s, mainly Frankenstein. This meant that not only could Jason return, it would mean that he would be something different, not human. The new Super Jason was stronger and harder to bring down, which meant no more axe or machete to take him out. This is really where the plot comes in. See, Tommy, from the fourth film, accidentally resurrects Jason while trying to destroy his body. This puts Jason on the warpath, back to the camp that started it all, with bodies piling up as he goes. Now it's up to Tommy to find a way to put him down for good, hopefully before more people die. The characters in this film are what truly shine, finally breaking away from the core teenage group seen in the other films. And what I would consider actually to be the most well-rounded cast from the franchise. Of course, there is Tommy, who we have mentioned before, as an adult now with a very haunting past. We also have a few starring cops, which is refreshing. The sheriff himself being the father of our other main character, Megan, who again, nice refreshing change, not being the damsel in distress, but rather being the heroine of this film. See, everyone is believable and very interesting to watch, which racks up the tension, as you really don't want to see these people die, let alone get hurt. This is only heightened by the fact that this is the best acting ever seen in a Friday the 13th. Each actor really understands their character and gives it their all, which might not be Oscar worthy, but it really does hold up unlike others in the franchise. Take for example the sheriff. He seems like a little bit over the top, but it's still dialed back. He has some fun with his dialogue, and he chooses scenery when necessary, and it's great. The overall care and attention to this movie is felt in every frame and every word. The music is amped up, the direction is tight, the humor is genuine, and the references are a great nod to the genre where you come from. I could only wish that other Friday the 13th films would take this material so seriously, but still allow themselves to have car chases and fourth wall jokes. It really takes a master to blend all of this horror, humor, action, and drama, but Tom McLoughlin really shows us that he was the right man for the job. Sadly, no other master would come around, and all other movies in the franchise would just try to follow in his footsteps, but pale in comparison. So, that's my take on Friday the 13th Part 6. It's not necessarily a downhill trip from here, but let's just say after watching this film, I'm not as excited for the next. Thanks for watching.